Well, good morning. It's great to be here. And you're a lot sunnier up here than we were in London when I left this morning. I was terribly overdressed because it looked very grey and about to rain when I left. So I should come to Birmingham more often if that's what's going on. Liz and I are going to talk about the broad context and how it is and it has changed rather dramatically, or not in some cases, over the last few days. And then we'll talk about how that affects our campaigns. And I want to also reflect on how that affects not just national campaigns, but some ideas about how that might be affecting local campaigning as well. But I'd love to hear back from you over lunch on what your analysis is of what difference the election makes or doesn't make to the work that you're doing. So,
just going back to the question of image, one is something I want to ask is how other people have made their stalls look attractive. What have they done to kind of make it look, give it that kind of wow factor? Be clear what you need to have on your stall, and you don't necessarily need to have information on every single aspect of environmental campaigning. It's best to kind of pick a few things to have, which is most relevant to what you're trying to do today, and also most relevant to your local group. So, if you were doing a food chain store or a food store, you would have food chain resources, maybe some local food material, maybe a little bit of information about other campaigns your group is working on, a newsletter, a membership form, and the kind of the props and the badges and the things that make your store more attractive to go with that as well. But the last thing you want is if you're running a bookstore.
Found many years ago, which attracted a lot of people, was a mobile. So you have this thing spinning around, which was it was like 17 foot up. So that attracted people, right? And it was so effective that people wanted to buy it. So we could have sold dozens of them.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, oh right, that wasn't the idea. But if we'd have known that, we could have made a lot of money on this.
Came up with a craft group that would meet every month, and then we put on Facebook what should we call it, and someone suggested Happily Ever Crafter. Yeah. So our group is now called Happily Ever Crafter. Wallet, a touch-packed wallet.
Try and engineer the transition movement.
So who's making the rope?
Me.
Oh,
that was another thing that we did, because we have every third Monday of the month we do
Birmingham.
Yeah, crafting.
Talking to Joe about that. You do discussions on
it's more chatting and crafting.
People tips on how to use Twitter and using a blog effectively, showing how easy it is to write blog posts and things. A small group, which meant we could give them very individual attention. I hope people got something from it. I'm hoping this will have given them a bit more confidence to go back to it and try again.
Sorry, for those of us who don't tread the corridors of power, and you said something about being wheeled out.
Yes, okay, let me explain that. I mean, the Cabinet Ministers, with some frequency, will invite the heads of the environmental NGOs and the development NGOs as well, actually, to come in and talk about issues of common interest. I think we're in for a round of the new Cabinet Ministers from the new government inviting us in for the first meeting. So that's what I meant. We were wheeled in fact, rather than wheeled out, to speak to her last Tuesday. My request to you would be to, if you haven't already, go back and look at the coalition agreement, Google for it, listen very carefully to the Queen's speech, and in your own local groups, make this assessment of what that means for your work and for the opportunities and risks that you see locally in the light of those things. Okay? Thanks.